Now for this video I'm going to stay on the dog theme, and we are going to be making these dog balls, fetch balls, whatever you want to call them. Depending obviously on which dog you've got, you might want to do it in a tougher or like cotton on this one. Depends if they're going to rip it apart or just fetch and bring it back. So obviously we're going to need the 3 colours of your choice. I'm using, for this particular wool, I'm using a 3.75mm hook. I've got a needle, my scissors and my stuffing, and this is so easy and straightforward to do. So let's get started. Okay, we're going to start with a slip knot like so, and then we're going to chain 40 at my end. 2, 3, 4, 5, 19, 20. 32, 33, 34. Okay, so I've got my 40 chain. Now every time you start a new row, you have to chain 1. So we're going to be starting our next row, so we're chaining 1 now. And then we're going to go into the second chain from our hook. So this here is our first one, and this is our second one. So we are going to do a single crochet all the way back down. So you're going to end up with 40 single crochets going all the way down. Oops, drop that one. So if you keep going, I'm going to meet you at the end. Now I'm coming up to my last stitch on this one. So don't forget to chain 1 to turn. Now on the way back down the row, we're going to be doing the back loops only. So the easiest way to find this before you turn your work is, you can see this is your last one. Put your hook in there ready and then turn the work, so you don't get confused as to which one it's going to be. Now all the way back down, we're going to just be going in the back loops. That gives it a nice bit of texture. So if you want to carry on, I'm going to meet you at the end of this row. Okay, so I'm just on my last stitch of the row 3. We're going to chain 1 and turn. Again, I'm going to put my hook straight in so I know which is the back loop. And this is going to be row 4. We need to go up and carry on doing what we're doing until we get to and including row 12. So if you want to carry on, don't forget to chain 1 at the end to turn, doing back loops only until you've done row 12, and then I will show you how to do the next lot. Thank you. Okay, I've just I've just finished row 12, and what we need to do is bring the bottom end up, and we're going to sew along the top here. So I'm just going to pop my hook back through there, and you're just going to roughly tally it through on the other side. You are not going to be seeing this seam when it's done, so don't worry about how neat it is, as long as it's strong enough to hold. And you're going to do single crochets all the way through. and one just in this end corner. And you need to leave enough yarn to sew the edges in. And then what I tend to do is, because we've got our starting yarn here, I just tie a couple of knots just to keep it secure as well. Now this is your first one. You need to do one more like this, because this is how it's going to be, but that's going to be hidden. One more like this where it's sewed at the end, and then you need to finish off on one that you don't sew the end up, because we need to wrap it all through first. So if you want to carry on and make one more exactly as you have done with this one, and then on your last one don't sew the end up, and I'll meet you back there. Okay, so as you can see, I have two that I've done and I've sewn together. This is my last one, which I haven't sewn. So what we need to do is you feed one through the other and keep the seam under so it's hidden, like so. Don't worry, we're going to hide this one. And then on the last one, we need enough yarn again to sew a little bit in a second. I'll pull that one away. Okay, now this one, you just feed it through here. And then work your way through to feed it through this one. And this is where we're going to be sewing it together here. But don't worry, you can move them around to hide your seam. So don't think because it's not in the right place at the moment, it's going to stay there. It's not. Get my end. So again, I'm just going to go back through this one and through the end. And just zigzag it back through to secure it together. This is such an easy way to use up all your odds and ends, because it doesn't use a lot of wool. And like I say, if you think the dog's going to chew through it, just use a cotton yarn, something a lot stronger. Okay, now I'm just going to tie those couple of knots, like so. Now I want to turn this one in the same way as these, so literally just flip it over. So they're all the same. And hide this seam under this one. So now all my seams are hidden in there. So your small ends you can just tuck in, your starting tails, just leave your long ones out. And then we need to stuff this. So all we're going to do is push it into an opening until you're happy with how big it is. And then you're going to need to go around and pull the width back out on them to cover up any gaps. So there is our ball so far, and obviously we need to tie in our ends. So on every corner we're just going to put a couple of stitches to stop them being able to pull the stuffing out. So I want to start with this corner. So I'm literally going to pick up a couple of stitches at the end of each colour, and then if you go through the actual stitch itself, you shouldn't really be able to see the green on the purple. See, it blends straight in. And I need to attach the brown one as well. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed it through to this end, come up in the green, and do the same for this one. Pick up a couple of stitches, and on the purple, and just put it tight as you go. So just keep working your way around until you've done every join. You don't want to be sewing this bit up because that's what gives it its nice effect. So if you want to carry on with those, I'll meet you after that. Okay, so there's my ball. All of the end sections have been sewn up, and you haven't sewn these up. Might be an idea to hide a treat in there maybe. So now I'm going to be doing the I-cord. So we're going to have to use the yarn that we've already had. So I'm going to use all 3 colours. You don't have to, you can use 2 of one, or all 3 the same. And I'm gauging that I'm going to need about 2 arm lengths. So that's 1 arm, that's 2 arm. Let's give that a cut. So this is what we've got. Now you need to do a slip knot, but you kind of need one length a third longer than the other. Doesn't matter about being exact. So this is what we're left with. I'll pop our needle in, hook in. Now with the shorter length is what needs to hang down, because that needs to go over each time. The longer length, you are going to be pulling it through. So this is the tricky bit, the first bit. That one we're going over, so I'm going to hold that with my finger. This one we're coming back here, and it's going to be used for coming through. So you yarn over and pull through. That's our first stitch. This one you're just putting over the hook. This one you're yarning over and pulling through. Once you get going, it's easy. So this one over the hook, this one's yarn over and pull through. Hence why it needs to be longer in length, because you're going to use more of it for yarning over and pulling through. Oh, I think I've missed one on there. That's better. Oh, I think I'm getting a bit tight, it's not wanting to come through. There we have it. Yarn over, pull through. As I say, you don't have to put this on it if you don't want it. And these balls can be great for young infants, little babies that want to play. Do them in any colour you like, or the same colour. Okay, so when you think you've got enough for a hook, I'm going to go a bit longer. Then you can stop. Okay, that is where I'm going to be stopping. Pull the end through and just give it a knot. That's it. Now I'm going to be attaching that to here to begin with, and then I'm going to be attaching it to the ball. So you're not going to be able to get all of your strands through. I'm going to try doing 2. just to attach it to this one, anywhere in the end there. Same with this side. Through that one. It's magically brought my other strands through, that's helpful. And I'm just going to be tying just a couple of these together. And then we're going to be sewing it onto the ball. Okay, so I'm just going to pick up some stitches through here. I'm going to try and go through both the purple and the brown. Come through. And then back through the handle, or your loop, whatever you'd like to call it. I'm happy with that one, so I'm just going to pick up another couple of colours and do the same thing. Try and pick up the underneath as well. Back through the handle, the loop. And again, back through here. And lastly, the last two. Through the handle, back through here. Now I'm just going to tie a couple of them together, and then we're going to hide the ends inside. That's that one. That's that one. Going to go back through, just pull it up anywhere. Right, so snip these ends off now. So give it a little bit of a pull, snip, and then it will hide it inside. So there we have it. Your dog toy or baby toy, depends who you want to make it for and what you want to make it out of. So simple and easy to do, and a great way of using up all your scrap yarn. So if you like the video, please give it a like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.